we go, NHL Today, right here on SportsGrid. Mike Carver here with you, our weekly look around the National Hockey League Stanley Cup Playoffs. We are getting down to it now. By the end of the weekend, we'll probably only have 4 teams left in the quest for the Cup. Second round has not been great. Hopefully, we got a couple of good finishes coming our way in a few of these series. We're going to look at all the matchups tonight, tomorrow, some futures, etc., etc. Joining me, as always, and we'll double shift him today because, like I said, it's the playoffs, is Dave Sharpan, the sportsbook consigliere, and he's got the Toronto gear on today, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and that is really, look, second round, Dave, it's been a little, we've had 2 series end in 5 games. We didn't get much out of Vegas and Edmonton. Carolina and Washington was a snooze fest.
Yep.
I still just have no belief whatsoever that Winnipeg, despite winning last night, is going to win the next 2 games off of the Dallas Stars. I think our one shot for maybe getting a 7th game in this second round is if the Toronto Maple Leafs can show up tonight in Sunrise against the Panthers, and I'm not even sure that they could do that. Dave, good to see you as always.
Good to see you, Michael. I wore the Toronto stuff because it's probably going to be the last time I'm going to wear the Toronto stuff. They got no shot tonight. I don't think so. The line would indicate they have no shot tonight. I mean, no shot. It's minus 230. Listen, they've been outscored 8-1 in the last 2 games. The one goal coming with less than 2 minutes left in the last game. It was 2-0 at Florida, game 4. 6-0 turned into 6-1 at Toronto in game 5. With everything to play for and get a complete, dominated performance. I mean, Florida looks like the best team in the East. I would argue they would be favored over Carolina. Other people would argue that Carolina. I think so. I agree with you. I agree with you. But you're in Dallas green, it looks like today. Or is that Notre Dame green? I can't tell.
No, you could know Dallas Stars. Yeah, we go with the Dallas green and black, which is what they roll with, of course, because I think that that's who I have to, at this point, Dave, hitch my wagon to for the rest of this run. I mean, this is it. Now I'm going to be mad at myself because I've bet Dallas at the beginning of the season like the last 3 years, and I didn't this year because I was fed up with them, and I was fed up with them letting me down, and now here we are. They're 1 win away from being one of the last 4, and I think they've got a real good shot of taking this thing down. So I'm going to try to attach myself to the Dallas Stars here going forward.
Do you feel like, though, like what I saw from last night is that Dallas better win this thing on Saturday in Game 6? I don't know, because what we saw from Hellebuck last night was exactly what Winnipeg needed. A shutout performance, a couple, snap glove saves where he, put it up and curled it back and showed it to everybody. That was a confident performance from him. We haven't seen that on the road. Dallas is a small favorite. I mean, minus 150 was the price we just saw, but they better win, Mikey. They better win Game 6.
Yeah, I get that. And look, it's amazing the difference for Hellebuck home and road. Not just in these playoffs, but in his career. It's been such a difference. And I think also the big thing was they really didn't give anything to Dallas last night as a whole, right, Dave? I mean, it was 22 shots on goal. There wasn't that many high danger chances for Dallas last night. It certainly didn't feel like it. I mean, it was a couple here or there. But I thought that Ottinger had, even though he lost 3-0, I thought Ottinger had the bigger saves in the game. He was great, and he just got no help offensively. And then they kind of let go of the rope there in the third. I do kind of agree with what you're saying, Noah, because it seems like Hellebuck at home is such a different animal than on the road that if Dallas, you don't even want a chance going back up to the Great White North on Monday for a Game 7. Like you just really don't want to have to deal with that situation. Minus 375 for the series still here for them, of course. They had the lead. Man, and what are they tomorrow night?
Crazy because they're minus 150 tomorrow. And so if you take minus 150 and plus 120, you don't get minus 375. You know what I mean? So that number's high. So I don't even know. I mean, you really have to question a lot of things about, like Washington just couldn't get over the hump against Carolina. Carolina was better in all regards.
Choked them out.
Okay.
Choked
Yeah,
them
they
out.
really did. Edmonton was just better than Vegas in pretty much all aspects. I mean, a couple guys just completely disappeared. I don't know what happened to Eichel. They got nothing from him, and there was nothing there. This series, there have been moments where I've gone, geez, Winnipeg's going to win. Oh, no, Dallas is definitely going to win. Oh, my. What happened last night? I said, geez, if Winnipeg can find a way to steal this one in Game 6 tomorrow night, they're going to win Game 7. I've gone back and forth 3 times on this one, Mike. This has been a harder series for me to get a real feel for because I had a different vision of Dallas before everything started. I was with you. I was like, I'm not doing it again. I'm not falling for Dallas again. They're going to lose to Colorado. Yeah, well, that's done. So we don't have to worry about that.
You don't have to worry about it. They've lost all their guys. They've got no shot. Now they've got everybody back, and now they're healthy. And I'm looking forward to, after in the next segment I'm actually going to give you, they already have some hypothetical lines for these conference final series that I'm going to throw your way also when we get there. But it sounds like I don't want to just kill take all the buzz out of the room, but it sounds like me and you both think it's Florida tonight and it's Dallas tomorrow, and there's not any way around any of that. Like, I actually think, I'll tell you this, I think Toronto, I think they'll lose tonight, but I don't think they're going to lose like they did in Game 5 at home. I don't think this is going to be some blowout game where Florida smashes them and it's over in the first period, second period. I actually think that Toronto's much better at just completely ripping the heart out and stepping it on their fans. So I could see a scenario tonight where, like, maybe they come back, tie the game, and maybe it's even overtime and they lose. Like, they're going to lose in some kind of grand fashion, Dave, because that's what they always do. They lose in some kind of grand fashion. So I think Florida wins tonight, but I think it's more either they yak it up late or they lose in overtime. It's going to be something like that.
Okay. That'll be fun. I disagree. I don't think I like my Toronto team total for Toronto tonight.
I like Toronto with the puck line.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
So yeah,
I don't think Toronto scores more than 2 goals tonight, and I think Florida definitely scores 4. So I think we get an over game. Like in an elimination game, I like to play the overs more often than not than the unders. And the way this has gone, I mean, Bobrovsky's found something again. He's found something. So I don't know exactly how what's Toronto's path to victory tonight? I mean, is it to win the game 4-3, or is it for their goalie to step up and win the game 1-0?
I don't think they can win it. I don't think a 2-1 game is in their cards. Right?
Agree.
Agree. Their path to win sounds like 4-3 or 5-4. Like, their path to victory is we need to let an open game where our guys who do their best in open space can go and score. Like, they need. I mean, this Matthews. Where is this guy? This Matthews is just.
Boy.
Marner, they're already shipping him out of town, and the series isn't even over yet. Nylander's been pretty good, but Matthews and Marner have had another tough, potentially tough series where they're going to go home. And that's all that you're going to hear about. I think they lose it in excruciating fashion. Now, maybe you're right. It ends up, puck line doesn't happen for me because whether it's empty net or something else, 4-2, it ends up in that way. But I think that you're going to see a little something just because I think Berube brings that to them, Dave. I think that this is a little different than what they've had in the past. There might be a little bit more toughness to this Toronto team this year. We'll come back. We got more to do. NHL Today on the Grid. Mike Carver, Dave Sharpan, the Sportsbook Insignia. We're back after this.
Still underdogs at home, on the road, and all of these games. It's time for people to start understanding a legitimate team that has a chance not only to win the series against Cleveland, but also maybe even go all the way to the NBA Finals.
I think a lot of the focus has been on why the Cavs have not played particularly well. A lot of that is due to injury, of course, but I think that's taking too much credit away from what the Pacers have done.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Malaysia Fawali, who you guys know I am a huge fan, has decided to switch allegiances and stay in league. And now she's going to go play for Kim Mulkey. Her, Flau'jae Johnson in the backcourt. It's going to be interesting to watch. You wonder sometimes with roster construction, maybe too much is not too good.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a torn right Achilles tendon. That is obviously a season-ending injury, and you know that's long rehab. You're talking
That's a year.
That's a year.
I don't wish that on anybody. I don't. I hate that Achilles, knees and ankles. I don't like talking about them. I've said it a million times. But screw the Celtics.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What?
How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
And we are back, NHL Today, right here on SportsGrid, our weekly look around the National Hockey League Stanley Cup Playoffs. We're getting a little bit closer to the last four. Dave Sharpan, the sportsbook consigliere, is with us as well. Okay, Dave, I told you, I promised you this, and I always try to deliver with my promises. The potential matchups that we have for the East and West Finals would both be pretty juicy. Now, we're assuming Dallas versus Edmonton, Carolina versus Florida. I think that both would be fun. There you see the whole tree for you right there with the great job by the SportsGrid graphic team as we get a little bit further down the road. Now, Dallas would have home ice against Edmonton if that were the matchup. But I've got in a look ahead here, Dave. Edmonton for the series, minus 118, Dallas minus 102. Look ahead for Dallas and Edmonton. And that is close. I mean, that's as, that's, I know that's slight favorite for Edmonton, but it's as close as it could get, Dave.
And Edmonton would not have home ice in that scenario, would they?
No. Dallas had 106 points, and I think Edmonton had 102. So I know it's done by who had more points, so Dallas would have the home ice in that series.
Okay, so that's almost a pick 'em, slightly better. And you could argue that we could just put up 110 either way and just let them bet it and see which way we go. Edmonton over Winnipeg would be a bigger favorite then, I would think.
Minus 156. Edmonton would be over Winnipeg.
Wow. I was thinking minus 140, but okay. Without home ice in that situation as well. Winnipeg, was the number one team, President's Cup trophy. So, wow. I don't disagree with that, though, Mike. And again, I'm here in Vegas, watched every game. Something's different about Edmonton. They got to Game 7 last year on the back of, McDavid and Draisaitl. They're doing it again, but something's different, Mike. They got some physicalness. They've got some of that sandpaper grit, and guess what? They got Skinner, and he's back. And by the way, if he falters again, they got Picard. You sound like you're not believing me. You're not.
I don't know. It's just I should be believing it. It's just I should know by now. The NHL has changed. This is not our day, and back in the day, all that stuff. We grew up, Dave, with you need to have a top goalie to get you to the end. You've got to have a wall back there. You've got to have one of the best players in the sport back there. The Waz, the Brodeurs, the Hasiks, all these guys. Yeah. It's just, you sit there and you go, man, Skinner and Picard going to win a Stanley Cup. But think about it. Think of the last 10 years to 15 years. Some of the guys that have been in net. I mean, even the Penguins, Murray's, he had those runs with the Penguins. Murray stinks. And he won those cups with the Penguins. He was great in those runs.
Yeah.
The Caps won that year with, what was the guy who won for the Caps? And then he went on and got a whole bunch of money from Vancouver. Braden Holtby won for the Caps.
Yeah.
The Knights had this guy Hill, who's not that great a couple years ago. Logan Thompson and all these. So you can win with middle-of-the-road goaltending now in the NHL. And I think that we just have to realize that. So every time we talk about Edmonton and their goaltending, well, plenty of hack goaltenders have won the cup in the last 15 years. We just have to accept it.
It can happen. It doesn't happen that often. We remember when it happens. Good call by you. A couple big names are coming up. Braden Holtby and I think you threw the Vegas guys under the bus a little bit, but that was a good team effort.
They're not Marc-Andre Fleury, Dave. They're not the best of the best in the league.
Right, that's fine, I know, but it took, some good goaltenders never won the cup either. Like, think about that. Just because you're one of the best goaltenders doesn't mean you win the cup. The King, there's one there, Henrik Lundqvist.
Well, the Rangers have got a bunch of guys. Lundqvist, now it's Shesterkin. They're gonna have a few guys who never win the cup. So that's how it goes sometimes.
Right.
On the other side,
what about the East?
Florida would be minus 134 against Carolina.
Okay,
Carolina would be plus $1.12. Carolina would be the same almost the same price against Toronto, minus 132.
Wow.
Carolina would be against Toronto.
Let's put this one on the board and keep this in mind. If that's the matchup, I need you, I need Vinny, I need everybody to send me a reminder that we're going all in. We're pushing, okay? It's Carolina to beat Toronto, okay, for all of it. Whatever it is, that's the play. Carolina is going to beat Toronto, and that number 100% should be higher than minus 130. I'm surprised that it's that low. That should be over 150 like that other price is for Dallas and Winnipeg. I'm not saying they have no shot, but I know that Carolina, would they have home ice?
Toronto would have home ice.
Toronto would have home ice. Okay, so maybe that's why. Okay, all right. That's why that price is like that. I thought Carolina had home ice. All right.
Nope, Toronto would.
Carolina's going to beat them.
Carolina minus a game and a half at plus 150 to win in 6 or less. That's
against Toronto?
Against Toronto, they'd be plus $1.50 minus a game and a half. Listen, that's pretty good.
We got a lot going on with the golf. We got a lot going on with the Preakness. We got a lot going on. So don't let me forget if that's the matchup. Somebody send me a text, DM something. Please.
But that's not going to be the matchup. It's going to be Florida and Carolina, and Florida's going to be minus 134. Who do you like?
Price. That's the right price. I think it's Florida. I do. They're healthy. They're physical. And something about Bob is just doing it again for me, where I'm like, somebody is going to have to go take it away from them. I don't know if Carolina's that team.
And Carolina would have home ice. They had 1 point better. They had 99 points. Florida had 98 points. But I don't think that bothers Florida. You just saw it. You just saw it in the Tampa series. You've seen it here in the Toronto. I mean, they lost the first 2 games in Toronto, but won the critical game 5 there. So they're not worried about going on the road after winning a cup last year. So I'm not too concerned about that.
Enjoy this while you got it, Mike. This will be the last time you see it.
Yeah, I think that will be it for the Maple Leaf gear this year for Dave. I don't know who he'll have to go to next week. One of those last 4. I don't know how much Florida Panther or Dallas Star stuff these guys. I know he's got the Oilers stuff tucked in the drawer. Dave Sharpan, the Sportsbook Consigliere, NHL Today. We're back after this.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups. My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
You know, Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. You know, they've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Derek Carr has called it a career after 11 NFL seasons.
I think they knew before the draft that they had to make a move at this point. And by the way, Derek Carr did have a pretty good career. Made as many Pro Bowls as Eli Manning. So based on that, he should go to the Hall of Fame like Eli Manning. Well, Eli Manning does have a couple rings at that point, but always wanted to take a shot at Manning, who should not actually be in the Hall of Fame. Shouldn't be questioned, an under 500 quarterback for his career. Stop the man.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back. NHL Today, right here on SportsGrid. Mike Carver here with you, our weekly look around the National Hockey League. Great job by Dave there. As we get ready, we're dwindling down the teams. And almost time for the conference finals, which will begin probably mid-next week, since we're definitely going to get, the series ends tonight. They might start, I would say, Carolina and Florida, if that's the series, probably Monday or Tuesday. They would get that cooking. So we'll get right into the West. So that they don't wait around. Unlike the NBA, it gives you large gaps between when they start their series. The NHL does not. They let it fly. All right, how about a Final Five here for tonight? Now, this will be like a little combo, tonight and tomorrow. We know that we have a Game 6 in Dallas tomorrow night. We have a Game 6 in Florida tonight. So we will mix some of our Final Five plays between both of those. As far as the power play points, which we've been all right with here, even in the playoffs, we've been finding a couple of Squirrels found a few nuts here with these. I think tonight we mentioned that the path for Toronto is definitely going to be some goals. We've seen some chippiness. Maybe we get some penalties. I'm just going with the bell cows here from each team to get a power play point. Now, Matthews has been horrible, but I think the only way he probably does get on the score, he's been so miserable 5-on-5, is they somehow get a power play. So plus 190 for Matthews with the power play point tonight. Sam Reinhart at plus $195 on the Florida side of things. We know that he's going to always be in the mix with that. As far as our goal scorer for these two games, why go away from what's worked? Last Friday we went to this guy. He cashed for us. I'm going right back to him in a Game 6 at home tomorrow night, trying to eliminate the Winnipeg Jets, and it's Mikko Rantanen. He's been so big in these spots for Dallas so far in these playoffs. We'll go to him again at plus 145 to light the lamp against them. Next, our side. I let this go with Dave, and I'll just rehash it here. I think Toronto loses tonight, but I think that they're going to be in this game all the way to the end. Obviously, I want to avoid any kind of empty net situation. I think there's a potential for some overtime here tonight, but I think that this is going to be a one-goal game on either side. Minus 138 on the puck line for the Leafs, plus a goal and a half. They probably lose. They lose excruciating. And if they ever win, you got it then there as well with that play. So plus 1.5 on the puck line for the Leafs. As far as the total goes, going to Saturday night's game, and I like the under 5.5 with Winnipeg and Dallas. I think that you will see, just like we saw in the 3-0 game on Thursday night between these two, I think that you will see some shutdown play. Maybe Rantanen's the hero again. He's going to get that goal, but I think both goalies will play well. I know Hellebuck's been a complete disaster on the road in these playoffs, but under 5.5 for the Stars and the Jets on Saturday night. As far as the future goes, and it's getting a little tougher for us as we're dwindling down the teams, but I like to have some exactas. I like to have some exact outcomes, and there's a couple teams that I really don't have much on, and one of them is Carolina. I really do believe that Dallas is going to beat Edmonton. I've got to cut Dallas and Florida already, so let's get Dallas with Carolina. Still at 8-1. These numbers are just going to get lower and lower. By next Friday, it's going to be even, the highest is probably going to be in the 4s and 5s. So let's get an 8 while we can get it. 8-1, Dallas to beat Carolina as our exacta for the future for the Final 5 coming up this week. So there you go. We've got Ranton in goal. Toronto on the puck line. Winnipeg and Dallas under 5.5. Dallas to beat Carolina future and the power play points with Reinhart and Matthews for this evening. And that's where it all sets up. So there's a different start tonight, too. 8 o'clock East for that game tonight between Maple Leafs and Florida. That'll be on TNT because ESPN's got the hoops. Minus 225 is where Florida's at right now. Plus $1.90 for Toronto. The total's at 5.5. You heard Dave say he does like the over tonight in that game. I guess that if you want to shade to the Leafs a little bit, you probably like the over as well. But just the puck line for me. And as far as Saturday night goes, Dallas minus 155 for the Game 6 at home. Winnipeg plus $1.35. And that 5.5 total, which I've already mentioned, I do like there. If there's a Game 7 for Toronto and Florida, it would be Sunday night at 7:30. If there's a Game 7 for the Stars and the Jets, it would be Monday night for them. Now, if that would happen, then they probably wouldn't start Florida and Carolina or Florida and whoever until Tuesday. So there you go. You're set up with even a couple of potential Game 7s for this weekend in the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Games should be fun. Let's see if Toronto actually could show a little bit of gumption here tonight and extend this series. Great job by Tommy, Vinny, and the crew. Great job by Dave Sharpan. NHL Today. Cash some tickets. See you next week back here on the grid.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never does.
They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
He's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take that is incorrect.
The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play.
He's
over
not
a 7th-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.